Hello everyone, my name is Shah Ahmed, and in this video we'll be covering the topic of greening and scheming concerning the issues of the car innovation and its debates. But first, let's go back to the basic foundation of how tech has really shaped us in every manner. The cornerstone of all this can be dated back to the evolution of wireless solutions, ultimately being called the smartphone industry. This has created borderless communication methods with more broader experiences under the edge of our fingertips, such as the online marketplace, etc. Even our educational experience has reshaped to a higher standard of ease and interaction between peers and teachers with an availability of more resources among classrooms. Globally, the innovation of technology of, and communication has spread around the world, aiding many nations to develop further, such as Bangladesh, as shown here. However, let's combine all of this tech together and push it towards what we're really focusing on this topic, and that's the car industry. A couple of decades ago, cars were simple. They were means of transportation to get from one place to another. Their aesthetics and raw gas-guzzling engine powers is what would give a driver an adrenaline rush every time behind the wheel. A CD player for some cars was a mere accessory. Later in the years, we adapted to many other add-ons to our ordinary motor car with higher tuned electronic computer units enabling a much more better driving experience. In the current market, one of the most well-known electric-driven cars with high computer data chips is known as the Model S, with features such as autonomous driving. However, some beg to differ. We'll get on with that later in the video. Bluetooth audio and other wireless connectivity modules enabled consumers and the driver to interact with media in a whole new different level. Uber as one of the most greatest examples of how means of transportation has developed into a new era with aid of wireless communication technology. Segment of what our video is really intended to. Do electric cars really help the environment? Well, let's check out a few sources and find out. Previously in the video, we did mention how Tesla made a big name in the electric car market. Well, let's give you an overview of how it works. The lithium-ion battery connected to the charge port drives the electrical drive unit and the engine generator, thus generating power. It's crazy how the electric car or the hybrid car market has grasped today's car industry, leading to newer additions in automobile engineering. The big boys such as Ferrari, Porsche, and McLaren have all based their ideas under the concept of the electric car, thus producing hyper super electric cars. Let's check out what Jorn Lomberg, an environmental economist, has to say about the electric car market.
More than a third of the lifetime carbon dioxide emissions from an electric car comes from the energy used to make the car itself, especially the battery. The mining of lithium, for instance, is not a green activity. Because while it's true that electric cars don't run on gasoline, they do run on electricity, which in the US is often produced by another fossil fuel, coal.
It doesn't sound too eco-friendly now, does it? Let's compare a few other examples to back this up. Over here, we can see a statistical value of the lifetime emissions over a 90,000 mile range for two cars here, Tesla being one of the most popular electric cars and an Audi A7 Quattro. It's shown here that the difference of the metric tons of CO2 emitted by the two vehicles is not too much. Well, seems like movie stars and some eco-friendly people create a huge fuss about this. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences also prove a statistical value showing the deaths annually caused by the social costs such as pollution by gasoline and electric. The difference here, well, there's not much to say. So viewers, let's get on with the last segment of our video and discuss how data mining has created such an issue in the automobile industry. We're well known that the web services have been mining our data for ages and using them for innovation. However, this has increased privacy concerns. Jim Barbarossa comments that data is the currency of the digital age. Well, that sure is. The data generated in our cars today is worth will soon be worth more than the cars itself at a pace of 1 gigabyte per second. That's a lot. Several data exchange platforms enable people to travel safer with guides such as GPS and driving assisting packages. These information generated enable us to have a much more safer journey. However, many beg to differ, as certain new services, such as the telematics service, enable a driver's location, speed, and how they drive to be transmitted to insurance companies and other data miners. This creates a serious security concern. The Federation of International Automobile released a data campaign video explaining the pros and cons and how to be aware with businesses taking advantage of all these data mining resources.
When you buy a car, it often includes a clause which approves the transfer of your data to the vehicle manufacturer's proprietary network. As a result, you are not necessarily aware when data is transmitted by your car or how your data is used. You may not be able to opt out when service policies are changed, and if you reject the conditions offered, you risk losing access to all services. But ensure informed consent on access to your car's data, and that you retain ownership of the data it produces.
Remember how we explained telematics, where route data, speed data, driving style, and preferences are all captured by those telematics services. Now, does that create a security concern? I think so. Greening and scheming, electric cars, and data mining. These raise concerns over the environment and privacy issues due to such tech innovation. It's high time we raise our concerns and get our facts straight with the opposition. From a car enthusiast's point, let's stick to the more conventional way of driving.